Sup, everybody?
Hi.
How we doing?
Doing well.
All right, so today's video is going to be the review on the Serenade of the Seas by Royal Caribbean.
Yes.
And we're calling it, just like we did with the Carnival one, Royal Caribbean Serenade of the Seas 555 review. So what does that mean?
So we're gonna give 5 above things that we like, or above par things that we like, at par things, and then the things that we thought were kind of below par. But we're doing it a little differently this go around. So we're doing it in different perspectives.
Because I've already been on the ship.
Mm-hmm. And I haven't. So he's going to do his more so on a comparison to before and now. And I'm going to do mine from a new to the ship. And then we got a special treat. We're also going to do a 333 for the service dogs.
Yep. So let me blow through mine. And then, well, we'll do it together. So let me pull it up on my phone here. All right, what do you want to start with? You want to do?
Well, let's start on the bad notes.
All right, we'll knock out the bad note first. All right, so this is what I thought, and again, these are just our opinions. Everybody is entitled to their own, but this is just what we came up with. All right, so these are not in any particular order, just going down a list. So I thought the included food venues was kind of lacking on board. I really was hoping for a little bit more. I will get into. Well, I noted on the video where another food venue used to be, where Azumi was now on the ship, and it was something that I always went to eat at. Well, not always, but a lot of times during that trip when I was on it last time. And remember, I was on this ship in 2007. So big difference between 2007 and 2022 when we went on the ship back in November. All right, so that's one of mine.
I agree. The food sucked. There was like their breakfast, their eggs were really runny, and it was just not. It wasn't good. The food options were not. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. I did like how they had bacon every day, though.
Yes.
Carnival, take notes.
So their food is better than Carnival, but for it being a royal ship, I expected way better than what there was, and there was like no variety. And it was the same thing, and I was just really kind of... I mean, okay, so there were varieties more at dinner time, but that was about it. So...
breakfast, it was your usual stuff, but yeah, I thought dinner time they did have quite a variety.
But it wasn't all very good.
All right, so staying on the food issue, Park Cafe in the Solarium. So after hours, after the buffet closes, the Park Cafe turns into a small little pizza joint. Not real impressed with it. I thought it was really below par. We ended up going there twice, right, throughout the trip, and the first night was okay. Their snacks, we had a brownie that wasn't so good. The cookie wasn't so good, but the pizza was okay.
It was okay.
It was a good pizza, and it was pepperoni. I've always said that the main pizzas are sausage, pepperoni, and cheese. Those are your 3 main pizzas that you should always have available for people.
Mm-hmm.
So they did on the first night, but on the second night that we went there, they did not have any pepperoni, but they did have cheese at least. They also had some type of, what was it, a Hawaiian pizza or something like that. So you were okay with that.
But it wasn't fresh.
Yeah, well, I mean, like you said, it wasn't something to write home about, but,
I ate it. It was okay.
It was okay. So I thought the pizza, the after-hour pizza, could have been a lot better. But the pizza in the buffet, much better than the pizza outside of the buffet.
I haven't seen your list yet, so I'm trying to pick something that's not on yours. Okay, so I'll go with this one. Okay, so on that subject of that Park Cafe, right outside of Park Cafe is one of the main pools, and the Stars Under the Stars is the movie night. Now, normally it's like a popular movie, like everybody wants to go watch it, and every night it's something different. And this one was not that. Like, it was a movie that nobody's ever heard of. They watched the same movie every night, and like there was literally nobody on the deck at all. Like, people passing through. Like, that's about it. So I was very disappointed with that, because that is something that we love to do, especially with the kids. But it was like, we tried to watch it, and I don't even know. It was some like gory, like, I don't know, some gory bat movie or something. I don't know.
It was
weird, but it was like not carnival like standards, and definitely not.
Royal
I'm sorry,
Caribbean.
Not Royal Caribbean standards. There you go. But it was. I don't know. I was very disappointed with that.
With the Horizon that we got off a month before, their movie nights under the stars were a lot better.
Oh yeah.
The kids
Carnival's on my mind
almost,
because we have our.
I know, and the kids are ones to go out and watch those movies, and they did on Carnival, but not on this ship.
Yeah, so I was really kind of upset with that one. Go ahead.
All right, next thing I got is fun things to do on board. So I'm not going to drill into this too hard, because the ship is,
an older, smaller ship.
It's an older ship, so I'm not gonna drill on it so hard, but it does need probably a small update to maybe add a couple of fun slides for the kids. They have some weird baby green slide on board that is really kind of level as it goes down, and
don't ride it.
Yeah, don't.
You'll get stuck.
And I had Casey ride it, and it was a whole big thing. But anyways, he was showing me how
Casey
bad,
was like scooting,
like
and I don't know if you even know Casey. He's this tiny. I mean, he's tall now, but he weighs all of like 50 pounds. Like, he's nothing. He blows away in the wind. Yeah. So for him to be like...
So I think they do need to update some things on board. But I really like the ship the way it is. But we'll get into that a little later. But just a couple of things to make it a little bit more fun. And a little bit more...
So in comparison to before, was that something like...
Well, that slide was there when I was on the ship before.
Okay, so there you go. Needs an update. I agree. So that was my below par.
But like I said,
much to do.
It's a 20-year-old ship when we went on board.
Yeah.
So
I don't. But see, like, and because like I said, this is on mine too. It's also like I felt like I'm not gonna say there wasn't things to do. So like there were things like they did like a salsa class in like the front. They had like they had like little things like that, but not much. Like, it wasn't like so you can go get lost in doing something.
So that was the other thing. A lot of gatherings was in the atrium.
Yeah.
So
you couldn't enjoy the atrium.
One, yes, you couldn't enjoy the atrium, and two, it's just so crowded because you got everybody on the main floor, and then all throughout the atrium you got people standing around everything, and it makes it hard because the atrium is a small area, even on different levels.
Not only is it small, but you have the bar there, you have the band here, you have guest services here,
elevators,
and then you have the elevators here. So there's literally like this tiny little area that you have, and you're literally just packing it full of people. And now people who have to go to guest services have to try and get through all that. And it wasn't like there was much. It was just not really thought out.
Yeah. I thought that a lot of that stuff, and we had nice weather, so I thought a lot of that could have been probably out on the pool deck or something.
So can I jump to this one since we're kind
Absolutely.
of... Okay. So one thing on my next one is, I hate saying this because I don't want to be mean, but the talent wasn't all there. I think they could have done better at their hiring process, maybe, or like their training processes. Not saying that they all sucked, but like I stopped in and just kind of watched like a snippet of like a show, and I left, and I'm like, this was very not organized and very like chaotic, and it wasn't very good. But there were like the Love and Marriage show, which was great. So it's not that it couldn't be great. It's just some of the talent wasn't really there. I don't think
maybe
like
there's no enthusiasm for it.
Maybe that's what it was, because even with the salsa dancing, like I don't think she wasn't very teaching.
She was just very like robotic.
Yeah, it was very much like, do this, do that, do this, do that. We're done. And it's like there was no teaching, there was no engaging, it was just, like you said, robotic, which is what it was. So that was my next thing. Like, I think if you're going to be in a talent, if you're going to be, your job is entertainment, you are to entertain with people. You got to put more into it. So.
All right. So another thing I have is lack of sail away party.
I should have gone with the other one.
No, I'm going to go with this one because I know you have the same thing. And, this tends to be the thing on Royal Caribbean ships. They don't have the sail away party Carnival does. Sorry, they just don't. I don't think anybody has a sail away that Carnival does. So it's just going to be on my below par because I expect that, because we've been on Carnival so many times. I expect that.
Yeah.
That's just me. I like... Hey, I'm on vacation now. I don't have a care in the world except a cocktail in my hand and food in the other. That's all I care about when I'm on a cruise ship.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, yeah, there's no sail away. There's no real, like, I mean, you go up and you watch a sail away, but like, that's it. Like, there's no party. There's no, it is kind of is what it is. I mean, like, there is some music, but nobody's really.
I don't want to say there wasn't a sail away party. I said lack thereof.
Yeah, so like, so but it goes back into that whole talent. There's nobody getting you excited, getting you doing it. It's just very much of, okay, we're playing some music. Okay, the music ended before we were like away.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't even pull out of the river there. Okay, your turn.
Well, I guess, my sail away party. So
we'll go with that.
Your last.
All right, so this is my last below par. And again, these are just things that we come across and that we think could use some improvement. The bed comfort. It's Royal Caribbean. It wasn't as bad as. I don't want to say it was as bad as
Royal.
Allure.
Allure. Yeah, I said Royal.
It's pretty much Royal, I thought.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it's not as bad as Allure was, but it still definitely could.
But in all fairness, though, we did ask for 2 pillow toppers before we even sailed away, so that could have been the.
That made it not so bad.
Yeah, I don't care what you say. Carnival has the best beds so far, even over MSC.
I don't remember the MSC bed that much. I'd like to.
Well, the one that we were on, I remember, was not horrible, but when we slept on the Carnival, it was like a fluff. It was like a cloud. It was amazing.
Right.
And then Royals is like a brick.
Yeah. All right. So go ahead with yours.
Okay, so we're going to go with the app pars.
No. You have one more.
No, because we did sail away together.
Oh, that's right. You already did the other one. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
I'll catch up eventually.
You are done with yours.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'll catch up with you eventually. I guess I caught up with you. I passed you.
No, you didn't pass me. Okay, at par. I don't know what yours are, so I don't know.
We'll do this one together because I know we have the same. Oh, wait, you have that higher, I thought.
I do.
Okay, so that's fine.
We'll save that to the last one then.
Okay. So at par, I thought buffet variety. We talked about this a little bit earlier. I thought the buffet variety during the dinner time was, on par. But I really think that the food quality could have been a little bit better. But variety, per se, I think was on par. With the, I want to go back to the horizon just for a moment. When we were doing dinner on the horizon, it was the same thing on every bar.
Every night.
Every night. So the variety was definitely there.
I will say,
quality, maybe a little bit better.
I will say, every port we went to, they tried to accommodate the food choice to that port, which was kind of nice. But my at par is there was one night on the buffet where the dinner was actually really good. I had empanadas, what else? Chimichangas. It was amazing. And then the next time they did it, it sucked.
Not so much.
They had it was onion empanadas. And it was all onion. It was so nasty.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah, so that was my on par. I will say that they did accommodate to the port, and one night was actually really good.
Okay. You still cut it. Oh,
that was my app.
Okay. I was looking at the wrong section. Okay.
Yeah.
So my next thing is, I thought the mustard grill was on par. I thought it was what?
No, I didn't put that, but yeah, I would have to agree.
It was flawless. I think it was pretty quick. I think you'll cover this a little later, but there were no dog life vests. But other than that, everything else was quick and easy and hassle-free.
Yeah.
So I'm really liking how these ships are doing this, and I hope they continue.
I think NCL
went backwards, but hopefully they'll
come back. So my next at par, I would have to say, would be the drink bar at the buffet area. I love how they have everything out and ready for you. Mm-hmm. You could just grab and go. There's no line. There's no build up. It's all laid out. Okay. And if you ask for a drink because you have the package or whatever, you just show, you ask, they give it to you. They're really quick with it. And I think that was very at par. It wasn't great, but it was very good. I think
that's one thing. Well, there's other things, but I think that's one thing that Royal has down that Carnival hasn't figured out yet.
Mm-hmm.
There's never a line for water. Never a line for coffee. There's just not, because it's already ready for you. All you got to do is grab it and go.
Grab and go.
Okay.
Yep. Here you go.
Is my go. And my next thing I have is the cleanliness of all public places. I thought the ship was very well maintained throughout the whole time we were on board. So, not much to say on that, but great job on keeping us safe.
Good job. I'm going to go with the at par being the crew was very upbeat and helpful, even though they weren't, their talent area may have lacked in the whole engagement. I will say, the crew themselves were really good. We had that guy that greeted us at the buffet. He was just, I wanted whatever happy pills this guy had in his coffee every morning, because dude was freaking awesome. He put a smile on my face every time.
And there was a lady for lunchtime too.
Yes, that was the same way.
Yeah.
It's just every crew member that we encountered was just so upbeat and asked if we needed help, or just was very, very nice.
Mm-hmm. Okay, next thing I got is the service dog litter box area. I thought it was at par. What?
Nothing.
Oh, you didn't think so?
No, I have a whole service dog section.
I know you do, but this is my list.
Fine.
And it was part of the cruise, so I have to add it. So anyway, the service dog litter box area I thought was on par. I thought they kept up with the cleanliness of it. We did the best we could because we were the only service dogs on, well, not us, but those two were the only service dogs on board. But we did the best we could. And I also, and I know we're going to talk about this, I like the cedar.
Yes.
The wood chips that they used. It made it so easy to help train the dogs to actually use the litter box.
So we do that before the cruise. It doesn't matter, whichever. We find out exactly what cedar is being used. We have a big kiddie pool on our back porch, and we fill it with the exact same cedar or litter or whatever it may be, where Royal uses the cypress mulch blend. Carnival uses the paper pellets. I love the mulch. The dogs love the mulch. They were just so amazing with it. They do not care for the paper pellets.
We'll have a nice review when we come back from our next Carnival cruise, which is later this week of the time of this recording.
But we do have, we have a process. So we, a month before we go on our cruise, we start training them to use just the litter box. We don't let them go outside. We don't let them free. It's
a pain, but it's worth it when you get on the ship.
Yep.
All right. But anyway, I thought that area there that they have was very nice and open. And, it was just a nice area that the dogs had to themselves. I mean, there were traffic going through there because of the heliport, but it was just a nice area all in all.
Sorry, Penny's just too cute. Okay. Okay, my next one's going to be guest services. They were at par for me. I don't like having to go to guest services. I don't think anybody really likes that part. But I would like a very go with the flow process. Royal Caribbean's Allure of the Sea had it. They had somebody going through the line, asking if people had help that they can help with. It kind of made the process go faster, picked out the easy problems versus the problems that need to be served, handled up front. This one the line was never really long, but the people kind of didn't really know anything, but they were helpful, if that makes sense. So
you just buy the book.
Yeah, it was
did everything by the book.
Yeah, so it was okay. It wasn't a bad experience. It wasn't a great experience, but it was okay. But we did have to go. Therefore,
always have going at least once.
Yep, that's my
at least it wasn't the horizon where we were there
more
times than I wanted to be. All right. Did you? Are you done with your?
No, I have one more.
I must have jumped ahead of you.
How did you have?
Oh.
No, because that last one.
Yep.
So let me do mine.
Yep.
Okay, so my last at par would be the port arrival and departure times and procedures. Most of the time, you're either a little late, a lot of late, or on time when it comes to arriving at your ports. When you leave, you're usually
late.
I will say, with this trip, we arrived on time or early every time. We were never late getting to any
In fact,
ports.
we were early one
We
whole
were
hour.
super early.
Not our fault, but they were like, yeah, they're ready for your inspection.
Yeah, we'll get to that when we get down to here. But yes. So,
Not our fault, though.
not our fault. But I will say, like, our captain, our crew that was, piloting, like, we got there perfect timing, I will say. And like the port procedures, again, that goes into like the service dog stuff, so we'll get into that later. But like, just like, I think everything just happened to flow really nicely. Like, we weren't really stopped very long on security coming in or out, which usually you are. I thought it flowed real nice, But again, it wasn't like the best thing in the world either. So, yeah, there's that part.
All right. So the next at par thing I have is the kids club. And this is where you're going into your above par, right?
Correct.
All right. So we differ on this one, but that's cool. So I thought the kids had a good time, and I thought the kids were very involved. Even Caitlin was involved with a lot of the activities on board. Because the ship is lacking in the fun part of the ship, they do make up for it in the kids clubs, and I thought it was definitely on par.
Okay, so I think it came above par because not only did they make up for not having the things on board, but like they had the kids involved until 1:00 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and my kids were coming in, they were tired, they were going to bed, but they were waking up and they were ready to go right back. Like, it was almost like we cruised by ourselves.
And there wasn't a lot of kids on board.
Yeah.
So,
but it was great because like just the staff in the kids club, like they engaged them in doing like scavenger hunts or like different challenges, and like really made them connect, and they were all like in this group. And the last night they even took the kids to the elevators, and like they excused them, like they were watching them. They didn't go on the elevators with them because they wanted them to have their like freedom, but they made it to where nobody could say anything to them. But they allowed them to be on the elevators when they changed the day over at midnight. So like that's something like I've never got to see, and they gave the kids that opportunity to do something. And I mean, it made the world of a difference to these kids. And I just think the way that they handled these kids, like I mean, above par. I don't think I've ever dealt with any of the kids' staff in a better way than I have on this ship. Like, and we're pretty involved parents, so we want to see where our kids are. We talk to the teachers, we want to know who our kids are with and stuff like that. So like, to say like I just really, really loved the kids club on this go round. I loved them. I thought they were above par. It's actually one of my top above par things.
Okay. So, getting into my above par now, our extended balcony cabin.
Ooh, yeah.
I really enjoyed. This is my second favorite balcony. That may be changing soon. Just saying. But this is my second favorite balcony I've ever been in. It was an extended balcony that was given to us, which was very nice.
Mm-hmm.
And lots of room for the dogs, lots of room for us.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, the cabin itself was, your standard cabin. But the balcony just made it so much better.
Okay, so we have all the same except for this one and this one.
Must have liked a lot of things.
Apparently. Okay, so we'll go with this one next.
Okay.
Okay, so I thought the room steward was amazing. He was so amazing. He gave us ice in the morning and at night. Like, he was great with the dogs. him and Phoenix were like best friends. It was the coolest thing. Like, he remembered their names. He like made them a little doggy and stuffed animal or animal towel animal thing. It was like he made sure like their babies were on the bed. Like,
I have to agree. That's definitely one of my above pars. The cabin steward. I mean, he was very good. You know how I like my ice. He gave me ice twice a day.
mm-hmm.
Stuck it in the fridge so it stay cold.
Yeah.
I mean, he was awesome. And
anytime he's seen us walking down the hall, do you need anything? I can bring you anything.
Yeah. And like I said, we asked for 2 pillow toppers when we first got on board.
He got them.
He got them for us. Definitely one of the better ones we've had in a long time.
The next one would be the ship. I thought it was such a beautiful, aesthetic ship. Like, I will say, just on looks, I would have to say so far, this was...
It's hard. Been on a lot of beautiful ships.
Okay. I think that Allure was very amazing. It's very spectacular, but I think it has to be in a class of its own. I don't think it's fair to compare apples to oranges, even though they're both fruits. You know, like, they're both Royal ships, but Royal's got way more money put into it, newer, and all that stuff. So I think that's kind of on its own. So taking Allure out of that, I think I said Royal like five times instead of Allure. Do you know what I meant? Taking Allure out of that, I would say that the ship was my favorite for aesthetics. It was just so beautiful and charming, and it just...
glass everywhere.
It was just breathtaking. I love the elevators with the glass and looking at the ocean, and it's definitely my favorite aesthetic versus obviously Allure, because it's got Central Park, it's got, you know, all these other things in it. So it's in this class of its own. So taking that one out of it, I love the ship.
So I have to agree. The interior design of the ship was still spectacular. I really loved it when I first went on it, and I still love it today. So the glass everywhere, the going up the glass elevator and looking at the ocean.
That was Phoenix's favorite part, by the way.
It was.
Not Penny's.
Penny did okay.
She was okay with the ocean part. She did not like the glass elevator with the atrium.
So the glass elevators on the atrium side, Penny wasn't so thrilled about.
Oh, she was like, no.
She didn't mind the ocean side of it. All right. Next thing I have, or actually
you have,
go ahead,
is Jamie, the cruise director.
We've been so lucky with cruise directors lately.
We actually got to sit down, and we had, like a good 30, 45-minute conversation with this guy?
Well, I don't think it was that long, but
it felt like that.
I know we had a nice conversation.
I think it was
because we were about to get off the ship. That was Belize.
Yeah, but we sat there forever. We sat there forever talking to him.
Yeah, he's very funny, outgoing, personable.
He got to pet. We let him pet the dogs. Now,
and he's going to be part of the world cruise on Serenade. So,
and I think for what he has available,
that's what I was about to get to.
He does do a good job. I think the talent could have been a little more, but that's not on him per se.
So,
but
he had mentioned, okay, so we loved Cookie. Cookie was awesome on the Horizon. But Cookie has all the bells and whistles
to play with
of the Horizon to play with. If you're on the Horizon, if you're on, Oasis of the Seas, Harmony,
that's like giving
Mardi Gras, anything big like that, you're going to have all the bells and whistles. But to be a great cruise director and keep everybody's attention, and not have all those bells and whistles like Serenade doesn't. It's a lot harder. But if you keep the audience attention, then obviously you know what you're doing. And Jamie knows what he's doing.
Oh my gosh. That Love and Marriage show, he was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
So hilarious.
All right.
So, yeah, he was great. Do you have another one?
I do.
So do I. Okay, so my next one above par is the coffee. It was Starbucks coffee. And I love it because it was included in our little package thingy that we got. And, oh my God, I love coffee. So, I had lots and lots of coffee. That was my above par. I love that it was included on this one because Starbucks was not included on Allure. That was extra. You had their upgraded coffee, but you didn't get Starbucks coffee. We got Starbucks coffee this go around. And I like that. So, above par for me.
So my above par is, this is one of the few class ships in the entire fleet of cruise ships that you can go out to the heliport and hang out. I absolutely love that feature on this ship where regular people, a part of, not being a crew member, can go to the helipad and just hang out and just look at the stars. I mean, we sat out there one night just looking at the stars. It was
just calming.
Unfortunate we didn't get that on video, but it was just calming.
It was very dark. We tried.
It was dark. And when you're out there, it is dark. They have no lights.
Yeah, there's no lights. You got to see the stars.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful.
And then you could turn around and see the bridge.
Yeah. It was very pretty.
So that...
Sorry, but coffee overtook that for me.
I absolutely loved and still love the heliport. All right, so that is the Royal Caribbean Serenade of the Seas 555 review. And now the special part of the show where we're going to review the 333 of the Service Dogs review.
Okay. So we're going to again start with the blow. Okay. So bringing a service dog with us, there's a lot of things that go into play. You have to make sure you have all of your paperwork.
You have to have all your ducks
You
in
have to literally, there's a lot that's on them. There's a lot that's on you. They are working a lot of the time. It's very taxing. It's very, there's a lot that goes into it. So when we look at this stuff, it is more so like, how were these things helpful or hurtful to our already stressful process? Don't get me wrong, I love having them with us. Obviously, they are with us all the time because they're our service dogs. They're needed. And, but it's different when you're cruising with a service dog than when you're not. Like, that's, I don't want to say the stress level goes up, but in the same sense it does, but in the same sense they help. So, it's kind of one of those things. So when we do this, it's how is the staff in the ship helping or hurting that entire process? Not so much on bringing them. So far below. One of the things that I think was below par was the crew was not informed on where the litter box was. So
I guess supposedly they move it around.
They do.
According to your room on the ship, if you have a service dog on board.
Yes. So they try to find an area that's very accommodating to the service dogs. Like if there's like 4 on board, then they'll try to find more of a neutral point. But yeah, so I know they change it. But guest services should know. Any of the main crew people should generally know where it is. They were like calling around. We went to guest services. They said, well, it's somewhere on this deck. Okay. So we go out. Okay, ship. Okay, we go out right here, right? And we ask somebody. and they're like, oh, and they get on their walkie-talkies, and then they must walk up here, and then it's not there, and then it goes, well, maybe it's over here, and it's not there, and then we're literally walking around the entire ship to be back generally where we were. I mean, around the corner, but nobody knew. They were like talking back and forth. They were trying to ask questions. Like nobody knew where this box was. So then, you know, he was like, well, let's go over towards like the smoking area, like where the helipad is. And there it was, just randomly. So there was no information.
Well, it wasn't random, but it's because that's where our room was.
Yeah.
But see, they should already know that going into it.
Because we're not going to know where it is.
Right.
They should generally know where it is. So that was one of our below. Another one that he touched on was no life jackets. We have life jackets for our dogs. If I knew that there were no life jackets, I would have brought ours. Carnival has them. They provide life jackets for the service dogs. You just tell them how many service dogs you have. Make sure they are in your room. They make sure they're available at your mustard station. So if you have an emergency and you can't go back to your room for it, they make sure it's there. So that was kind of like, well, if booking another Royal, gotta make sure we bring their life jackets, because I'm sorry, my dogs are very important to me, and if I'm going down, and I'm taking them, I don't want to say it like that, I'm not taking them down with me, I'm taking them and we're saving them together. They're going on the boat with me, the lifeboat, not the ship boat. So yeah, they're gonna have a life jacket just in case, because they're too important. So that was a very big for me. All right, you want to go with this one?
All right, the next one we got is no communication on how inspections would go until we received our first letter.
Yeah, like we went to guest services and we asked how the process would go. And they said, oh, somebody will let you know like later.
The later was the night that we got our first letter.
Yeah.
So
that was it.
Yeah. Nobody really helped
us.
And
nobody talked to us. It was we got a letter saying, okay, well, your inspection is at this location, you be there at this specific time, and this is what it's going to cost.
And this is what you need to bring.
Yeah. That was it.
Yeah.
No communication. And that kind of sucked.
Yeah.
So kind of expect that.
Next thing we have is our at par. And first thing we'll talk about is inspections. The inspection morning.
So they're at par because, okay, the inspections themselves were pretty easy.
Yeah.
They were good. They were easygoing, whatever. You have to sit there.
Wait for them to finish all their ship documents, passenger accommodations, and all this other stuff. It's all the paperwork for the ship to dock at a particular port. So you have to wait till they're done with that. Then they get over to the service dog part.
And that can take a while.
Yeah.
So you're sitting there.
And sitting there.
I think our general wait time was what, like
about a half hour.
At least. Before we were seen.
And it's not like you could show up, a half hour.
No. They have to see that you're there.
Yeah. And if you're not getting off the ship.
You can't get off the ship. It is what it is. And then you pay. And, yeah.
Depending on the port.
Yeah. Depending on the port. What was it? Honduras you have to pay. No. Belize you have to pay. Mm-hmm. Honduras was not worth paying. No. At least not on the road side.
I want a refund. All right, next.
Okay, so the litter box upkeep.
Yeah, I touched on this.
You touched on it. I think you said it was above or
at par. So I think we both agreed on that.
It started to smell from their urine, and because they don't give you anything, they give you a box and they give you a tiny little trash can and like gloves, and like that's it. That's all you get. So you have to bring your own poop bags. Fine, whatever, we keep them on us. So you're only cleaning up their waste. Mm-hmm. So the urine outside in the heat starts to smell.
And they also empty the trash bin pretty often.
Well, the first go around they did not.
I think they didn't realize what was going on. But then they did.
Phoenix will poop probably like 6 or 7 times in a day. Just what she does.
Yeah. So they learned to
very quickly to empty that can. But it was teaching them about them for it to happen. So that's why I was at par, because at first it wasn't that great, but it got better.
Right.
So and then our next at par would be our nightly letters.
So this was our informational of what was going on in the next morning of the day of the inspection. So
one day we got our letter way late, and we were like trying to find our room, sir. We were like, oh God, like what do we do?
I think that was the police one that came in late.
Probably. But then like you said, we arrived early. Which port was it?
It was Costa Maya.
Costa Maya. We arrived an hour early. We were at the litter box, and they actually came and found us. They were going to come to our room, but came and found us at the litter box.
The security officer came and found us at the box.
Yeah, she's like, I'm sorry, we arrived early, which obviously we woke up and we saw that we were there. So we were like, we should probably get up there, because I guarantee you it's going to be early.
Good thing we started moving.
Yeah. So she found us, and she's like, they're ready. I'm sorry, we just got here a lot earlier. We're ready, and if you're ready, then we'll take you over there. And I'm like, yeah, we're good. So we got there, we got it done, whatever. That was the only time we did not have to sit and wait.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were in and out within like 5 minutes.
It really was. So the nightly letters were
real quick. I would like to say it was really cool watching them do ship operations.
It really was cool.
As they were docking, that's something that a lot of people don't get to see.
A lot of people don't even know about it.
Yeah, a lot of people don't even know about it. They don't even know it happens. But it's really cool to watch the ship operations of being ported at a port.
And how many people are involved with that.
And how much coffee is drank.
Yes. And breakfast is served for them.
Yeah. If they want breakfast, they can have a little bite to eat too.
Yep. Okay, so our above par. I thought the check-in process to embark onto the ship initially, it was great. As soon as we got to the door, we didn't even find the line yet. Somebody actually came to us and said, service dogs, and we were like, yeah. And he's like, all right, let's go. And he literally got us through the entire front where the counters are at the very, very front, and he had them help us. We had everything. Yeah,
we walked through security real quick, and then we went to the counters. It was a very smooth process from the door to the counter, and from the counter to the ship.
Even we got there, they were like, oh, well, you need to fill out these papers. And I'm like, oh.
Y'all seen our book.
I was like, oh, these papers. And they were like, oh, we already have it. And I was like, yes. So they were actually really impressed with how well I had everything. So, the process was just so easy. It was so great. It was flawless, in my opinion. The next thing, the crew. Again, I have to say I was very impressed with the crew, how much they asked to help. Obviously the scene, we have the service dogs. One of the things that we did, that we tend to do, is when we eat somewhere, let's just say it's at McDonald's or Steak and Shake. One of us will sit at the table with the dogs because they're underneath the table. Instead of getting the dogs to move around back and forth, if all I need is ketchup or all I need is a straw or a refill on my drink, there's no point of getting the dog up. We generally sit right next to it, so whatever. But they would ask us, they would come around, they'd see the dog and they're like, well, can I get your drink for you? Or can we get you something? They were extra nice, which was amazing because, again, so it was again, that process of taking our situation and making it easier on us. And that worked with the ports as well. Not to say that we got special treatments or anything. It was, they were just very friendly. They made sure the process went smoothly. They even said hi to the dogs by name when we got off the ships and back on the ship. They were very, very amazing. And the photo guy,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, he was amazing. He was like, "Can we get a picture of the dogs?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, yes." He was on the ground. He was getting different angles, and he's like, "Well, he was so engaged with the dogs that it was just.
He got the dogs' attentions too. So
Yeah,
really
we actually got pictures of the dogs. Like we bought pictures.
We don't buy pictures. I did want the first professional pictures of Phoenix and Penny on a foreign land because we've never taken a service dog on board before, so this is our first time. And obviously, it's their first time. So I wanted that to be a little memory of, the dogs and something that we'll have forever.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it was really
Well,
cool.
we bought more because they were
really good. He was too good, actually.
He was taking all these amazing, and we were sitting there like, we want this one, we want that one.
We actually had to cut back on what we really wanted.
But they were all so beautiful.
He did a good job.
So beautiful. And by the end of
some people buy pictures of their kids. Some people buy pictures of their dog.
Oh, we're the dog people.
Just kidding.
Yeah, we have so many pictures of our kids. It's not even funny. So by the end of it, though, everybody says that they were the ship's dogs.
Yeah.
People we were on port, and they're like, "Oh, look, there's our dogs."
Even other ships were calling them ship dogs.
Yeah, so it was kind of
because like
cool.
Costa Maya was a packed house.
It was,
especially with the Lord of the Seas there, and everybody loved the dogs. They were so good, and yeah, what else can you say? Can't wait to take them on the next trip.
Okay, so our last one is the location of the letterbox. It was exactly 2 floors down from our room. We came out of our room, got in the elevator, came down, and went outside. Perfect. The location, it was right outside the door. It had like a nice view. It was airy because it was on the deck. It wasn't like in a room, which I think Carnival's is going to be in a room. We'll see how that goes. But it was just it didn't make us feel secluded.
Right.
But it gave them privacy. Also, it was a nice big area where we were, when there weren't people around, we were very cautious. Just because,
more so at the nighttime stage.
Yeah.
There's less people.
We would unleash them or drop their leashes because as long as you have them under voice control, then that's fine. They like them leashed, but they were okay with it as long as we didn't let them run. It was he stood here, I stood here, and the dogs were playing right here. So it was like they were very boxed in the same sense still. But the dogs did get to play. We got to throw their toys a little bit.
If somebody was coming, we'd get them under
voice control, and we'd have them in a downstay, and and even the staff. So we didn't allow a whole lot of people to pet the dogs because they are working, and they can't really be distracted. But we made the exception for the staff because we do know that they are without their animals for months at a time. And it's not just, we went on vacation, we had to leave our dog at home. I've been here for the past 6 months and I haven't seen my dog and I miss them so much. And I don't care if you're an animal person or not, you have to understand that having animals around make you feel better.
Right.
So we were okay with that, as long as the dogs were under certain commands to give the attention, because they do know commands first.
And then neither one of us were having episodes.
Yeah, so we were allowing them to pet them or interact with them at short bursts. There were a few people that we did meet that we actually met some locals to us that we actually keep in touch with, or I keep in touch with. I made her cookie recipe. Oh my God, I can actually make cookies. Anyways, another story. But yeah, so they got to interact with the dogs too, but we were with them like all the time down there because they smoked, or he smoked, and we even had dinner, and he was there. So it was just like, I don't know, they're friends, and so it was a little different. So we let them pet them. But again, the dogs we have trained them to a point where even if we've given them the command to interact with someone, if an episode were to arise, they're very quick to break that last command of interaction to assist in the way they need to. The only difference is a distraction. I don't like when people call them or whatever that they look away, because that will make a missed, alert or whatever. Yeah.
So that's one thing I've learned in the service dog community is that they give a not correct name. So that might be something we have to adopt. Like
that's so hard.
I know, for like random people that are like, oh, what's the dog's name? So cute. It's Charlie. It might be something we have to adopt.
Mm-hmm.
But I did notice that they
because people know their name.
Yeah, and if like Heather's on the other side of the room, and then you're saying, "Hey, Phoenix," calling out Phoenix's name or calling out Penny's name, they're going to be distracted on. Oh wait, somebody called me. Who called me?
Yeah.
So that's not okay. And yeah. But anyway, so that is the last one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Sorry, I've got Penny up here with me.
So I hope you guys enjoyed our review of Royal Caribbean's Serenade of the Seas. Really enjoyed the ship. Enjoyed all the ports of calls except Rotan, Honduras.
But I heard the Carnival side's a lot better, so
I'll try the Carnival side. But if I ever go back on a Royal ship,
that will be our ship tour
Virgin ship, or whatever ship that doesn't go to the Carnival side, that's going to be a day that I just stay on the ship. I'd rather go to Freeport.
Yeah.
And hang out in Freeport than go back to Honduras.
It was so bad.
As you guys seen in the videos of Honduras, how much video we got literally of the outside of the ship, and then we're back on the ship because literally
that's
nothing.
What we did.
Yeah, it was really that bad.
That's what we did.
Okay, so anyway, hope everybody enjoyed the video, and I hope it was informational to you to help you make an informal decision to go on Serenade of the Seas, because I would definitely highly recommend going on Serenade of the Seas. Beautiful ship. There is things to do. It is an older ship, just keep that in mind. But there are lots to do on board. Just not
your standard.
Not a ton of stuff that you look for in more modern ships. All right. So that's all I have. I want to make sure that you guys hit that subscribe button.
That's all we have.
Huh?
You said that's all I have. That's all we have.
Okay. That's all we have. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell to get all of our latest and greatest uploads and live shows. Give us a big thumbs up on the video. Helps YouTube understand that you like watching this stuff. And it helps us out. And join us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, at UsandMoreYT. We also have a Facebook group page, the Us and More Extended Family, facebook.com/groups/UsandMoreYT.
Okay. All right, guys, this is Us and More. We're living life to the fullest. Bye, guys.